this SEO checklist that we give you. And so I see a bunch of people saying, yep, I've done it. I need to do it again. I see a few people saying, no, I haven't. For the most part, good. It looks like there's a few of you guys that haven't. So if you haven't been to the SEO class, there's a couple of things. And as we exit out of this class today, I'll kind of point you in the direction of where you could either watch the video for this SEO class or sign up for our next live one. But I'm going to be coming back and referring to this checklist. And I'll do this for each post we look at, because these are the important things that we need to make sure we get on the page if we want the content that we're writing to rank. Again, if you take the SEO class, we really go through this stuff, but this is what I'm going to work off of. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I kind of want to set the stage against that SEO class and really against the whole Blogging Bootcamp series by looking at kind of what we're aspiring to. Okay, so I have a post, and I use this as an example a lot. It's a post about a particular condo complex in a particular area of Seattle. And so this Plaza del Sol condos, I wrote this post as kind of a demonstration of what it looks like to write a post about a particular condo complex. And we talk about this a bunch throughout the bootcamp series, is kind of finding real particular things in your market to focus on and write about. And so this is the post that I'm going to be using as kind of a guide to kind of give you a good idea, because I think if we go and look at a bunch of other posts that aren't that great, I don't want to say they aren't that great, that aren't completely put together, you don't really know what we're aspiring to look like. And so I'll kind of give you the baseline, then we'll look at a couple of other posts and see kind of how close they got to that baseline. And then it's a little bit easier, I think, to get an understanding for what it is we're shooting for if we have a baseline. Before we jump into the baseline, one more question I want to pose to you guys. How many of you have Google authorship set up for your ActiveRain account? And the reason I ask this question is because of the 3 posts that I'm going to review, 2 of the people do not have Google authorship set up. And so that's going to be like my first suggestion to you. You want your post to rank better and to be recognized by the search engines, get Google authorship set up. I get all kinds of tabs open. All right, well, so let's look at this post here as a baseline for the other posts that we're going to review. The first thing to say about this post is it is very clear what this post is about, and I can directly relate the keyword phrase that I'm using in here to a phrase that somebody absolutely might search for in Google. Okay, what is my keyword phrase? My keyword phrase is Plaza del Sol condos for sale, Capitol Hill, Seattle. Okay, now what's going to happen is that's kind of the phrase I'm shooting to rank for. But there's going to be a whole variety of other phrases that I end up ranking for. For instance, the one that I showed you guys was Plaza del Sol condos for sale, Seattle. Right? Different than my kind of targeted keyword phrase that gets a little bit deeper and mentions Capitol Hill. But look, I'm pretty sure, I show up for that, right? I'm probably going to show up even when somebody's not doing. Now, I don't show up in the first position, right? I'm down here, but that's okay. I'm still on that first page. I still have the chance to get traffic. And as we do just a whole bunch of varieties of this keyword phrase, I show up on that first page, right? When they really drill into my keyword phrase, Plaza del Sol condos for sale, right? They're getting me. And I might even venture a guess that if I went this route and they just okay, so I'm down there a little bit. But you can see that it's not just going to be that exact keyword phrase that they find me for. It's going to be a whole variety of different keyword phrases kind of related to what I've written about. Now, if I don't have that keyword phrase up front and be very crystal clear about, look, is somebody going to search for this? Well, then I might stunt my growth and I might stunt my ability to be able to get into the search engines. And I have a great example of this in one of our in one of our examples of where they were really close with the keyword phrase, but they just did some things that, you know, if you sit back and again, you always just think of your keyword phrase. And again, our keyword phrase is just this, the title of our blog post. That's the keyword phrase that we're hoping to rank for. That's the thing that becomes the page title of this page, right? If we were to look here at what's the page title, it's Plaza del Sol condos, Capitol Hill, Seattle. I even have demo posts in there because I got guilty after a little while because this post had generated some leads for kind of a demo test website. And so I try to stop people from becoming a lead of mine. But these are the types of posts that have the capacity to do that. Now, keyword phrase, first thing I'm thinking about, and how is the rest of my blog going to craft around that keyword phrase? So I need to get my keyword phrase in the body of my post 3 to 5 times. And from our checklist, that's one of the things, right? Pick one keyword phrase. So mine is Plaza del Sol condos, Capitol Hill, Seattle. We're going to use that keyword phrase 3 to 5 times in the body of the post. And one of those usages is going to be in the first 160 characters. Okay, so as we come back to my post and we look, I actually get my keyword phrase. It's probably overkill towards the top, but I'll tell you why I do this here in a second. So Plaza del Sol condos for sale, Capitol Hill, Seattle. I kind of restate my keyword phrase as a phrase, right? Not as a sentence. I don't try to work it in. Just a phrase, just restating it. Then up here above the fold, and when I say above the fold, I mean when somebody lands on this page, they don't have to scroll. If they want to find the condos for sale right now today, I give them a clear path to do that. Now, I also do that with a link that utilizes what? My keyword phrase. That's my second use of my keyword phrase right there, right? So I only need to get it in here one more time. And somewhere down here, Plaza del Sol condos on Capitol Hill. I don't get in for sale, but so I'm even a little bit shy, but I've used the phrases Plaza del Sol condos, Capitol Hill, Seattle enough times. I think I've even got some condos for sale references in there, right? That I'm kind of coming together on my 3 to 5 usages of my keyword phrase. Other similar phrases used. Keyword phrase in my first 160 characters. The reason I do this is because when I come here and I look at my result, this portion, the portion that's not the link you can click and not the URL, this portion right here will become your page description, right, which comes out of that first about 160 characters of your blog post. So you want this stuff to reinforce your keyword phrase. Right? That's why I get my keyword phrase in there sometime in that first sentence or two. In my case, I got it in here 2 times in the first 2 sentences. Right? So the next one was words and phrases that relate to your keyword phrase. Now look, you write a blog post, it's almost impossible not to have words or phrases that relate to your keyword phrase. Right? If I'm writing about Plaza del Sol condos for sale on Capitol Hill, what are some of the other things, the words Google's going to expect to see in there? They're going to expect to see things like HOA or homeowners association, garage, garbage, water, sewer, right? Square footage, complex, kitchens, right? These are all words that relate to the idea of having condos for sale. Now, anytime you write a blog post, you're going to end up with those kind of other words in there related to your keyword phrase. But a secondary kind of piece to that is Google is absolutely looking at sentence structure, paragraph structure, and does your blog post or does your piece of content lay out as somebody would expect to read it? And so if you look through here, I got a couple of places where I deviate from that a little bit, like just a straight block of keyword phrase. But as you get in here and start to read the rest of this, it very much reads like a real person wrote it. Okay, I got good, nice sentences. I've got good paragraph structure. I've even got on the page good white space. Like, look at my image here. I've got good white space around my image. My headers are set off from the rest of my content. Right? Google is looking at all of these things, right? They want to serve up that best experience they can to their peeps, right? To the people that are searching on Google. Keyword phrase, most common phrase on the page. If we were to look through my blog post, we would see that it would end up that my keyword phrase is the most common phrase on the page. Include an H1 and H2 header tag. I'm going to skip that one. It starts to really dive into the weeds. Proper image description and title. So this talks about my image, right? I go to my image. I've got, now you can use 5 images if you want. I just think it's overkill. Look at any of the professional websites out there. Even when you have like a CNN article that's about, something that people you really think they want to have a bunch of pictures, CNN just gives them 1 or 2 good, clean, crisp images, right? The idea is to draw them in and just get them reading your content. So I've got my 1 image here, but if you look at the title of it, and you can see it popping up there now, it matches my keyword phrase, right? Plaza del Sol condos, Capitol Hill, Seattle. Right? It's just another signal I'm sending to the search engines that, hey, not only is there content on this page that's about this keyword phrase, there's an image here that's about this keyword phrase. An anchor text link including your keyword phrase, and I already hit on this, but I've got my link in here at the top, right, that has anchor text that matches my keyword phrase. And that's going back to a page on my website where I'm showing them actually homes. And, we really dive into that stuff in the blogging boot camp classes. Add video or maps if applicable. So if I had a video of the Plaza del Sol condos, right, went out, took a little video with my iPhone, posted it to YouTube, I would absolutely want to have that in this post. Now, I don't have a video, so I don't have it in this post, but if you had one, or maybe even if I could find one from another source, right, because the idea with YouTube is people put this stuff out there and they make it shareable. So if the homeowners association had a video, I'd be careful about doing it from some other agent. But look, if there's video out there on YouTube, you can use it, okay? You can go in, grab the embed code, pull it into your piece of content. It will just enhance your piece of content. And then I would share it on social media, but that has nothing to do with the actual post itself. I want you to look at this post. Now, I'm not going to give you the time to read it, but if you read this post, you would get a really good idea of what I'm talking about, the real essence of what I'm talking about, right? What is it like to live in the Plaza del Sol condos, right? I talk about the building. I talk about the units. I talk about the area, living on Capitol Hill. I talk about values, but just in real loose terms. Everything in here is what we like to call evergreen. And as I look at these posts coming up here, this is going to be something that I really want you guys to think about. How can I make my post evergreen? And evergreen means it's going to be as good today for the person that finds it as it was the day I wrote it. So if this post I wrote in March, it's still good today in July. It's still going to be good in July of 2014 because I didn't put any content in here that has an expiration date, right? If I want to send them to content that has an expiration date, like to current listings, I'm going to send them over to my website. Okay, I don't want to put content in here that I'm going to feel like if somebody finds this, it's going to be outdated, they're going to leave, or that I have to worry about going back and maintaining.